Happy Saturday. Man, we made it back to the table once again. I'm so excited. Listen, I've had a long week, but it's been a blessed week. It's been a blessed week. I mean, I honestly say school started back this week, and within 3 days, I was yelling help. My professor was on some stuff, and I end up changing professors. Because you know how you go to a class and you read the syllabus and stuff like that? I was like, oh, this professor tripping. So I was like, I'm not opening up nothing out the class, because once you open up anything, the assignment or anything, you're automatically, you can't switch the professor. So I went through the registrar's office, and, you know, they was trying to tell me, oh, no, your request is denied. I said, I need to speak to the boss. So I got it done. I got a new professor. So that's what's up. I'm excited because I only have 3 more classes.
Congrats.
3 more classes. And then it's a wrap. And then everybody can call me doctor. You know, it's going to be what it is. Now, if I love you, I ain't going to require you to call me doctor. But, you know, if we ain't on the same wavelength, it's doctor to you. You know, it's doctor. So listen. Although, wait, I got something to say before I move on. My grandson started football this week. Let me tell you, I ain't been a mother of a youngster in a long time. And my son and, you know, his mom snuck that in on me, you know, that football stuff. Because we discussed it, but it's supposed to have been after baseball. Baseball practice started this week. So they going to get a leg up a week before and go put them in football. I get to the football field. These coaches is yelling at these little 5-year-olds. Now, you know, I went into protective mode. Like, who they talking to? You know? And I know it's football, you know. And that's why a lot of times they dismiss the mother, you know, so she won't interfere. But, you know, like 3 of the babies start crying. So I looked at one of the mothers and I looked at my son and I said, he got one time to yell at my grandbaby. We're going to have some issues. I mean, the kids they only 5. They broke down. I said, I can't do this. So my little grandson said, well, you don't have to come. I was like, oh, no, the hell he didn't. How you going to say that to your nana? So, yeah. And then today was his first game. So before the podcast, I ran over there to the field, you know, to support Nana's baby, and got in, and them jokers charged $10 a head to get in. Parents and children. I said, so wait. I said, so I have to pay $10 to go see my grandson play football after we pay for him to be on the team? They hustling. So then first it was like, you can cash app us, because I said, I don't carry cash.
You can cash?
I very seldom have cash. And only time I have cash is if somebody owed me money, they gave me cash, and I ride with that cash until it's out. I don't usually purposely stop off at an ATM or go in the bank and say, you know, give me some cash. You know, I don't do that. So then right after that, then the lady was like, oh, we only accepting cash. So me and a couple of the fathers looked at each other. He said, did she say they only accepting cash? I said, Dad, you know what that's about. You know, Cash App, you know, that's on a ledger.
That's untraceable.
It's untraceable. Well, the Cash App is traceable. Cash is untraceable. You know what I'm saying? So I was a little, you know, agitated. But be that as it may, I'm excited for my grandson. He coming. You know what I'm saying? I didn't adapted what Coach Prime done said, you know, for his team. He coming. He playing football and baseball. He doing his thing. So I'm excited about that. But before we get started, I want to remind you guys that the Masquerade Ball is coming up. June the 10th, 8 o'clock. So if you don't have nothing to do, come on out and have a good time with us. It's not a jeans event, but, you know, put you on some slacks for once. You know, you young folks, you know, y'all forever want to go to funerals and stuff with jeans on. When we were younger, my grandparents didn't allow that. You went to church with church clothes on. Funeral, it was like you was going to church. You had to wear church clothes. Any event, for the most part, we dressed up. Now, weddings, funerals,
That's how you want.
everybody in fitteds and gym shoes, and half the time you don't know where they're going. They look like they going to the hood club. That's all I'm gonna
They
say.
came to stop.
So this is not that kind of event. This is not that. So we just want you to look presentable. It's a classy affair. We're gonna come in. We're gonna eat good. We got an awesome caterer, Tay Foods. We got DJ Leon Purse. We got a bartender at Sugar Box Cocktails. She's on Midday Vibes Wednesdays at 2:00 podcast. Check them out. So we're gonna have a good time. We ain't sparing no expense, to this event, but it's a cash bar. So come on, bring your loose change, and drink and have a good time. So let's pause for a cause and go to the commercial.
The Detroit Table Talk Podcast presents a masquerade ball. Not like that. Saturday, June 10th, 2023 from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. 25463 Grand River, Redford, Michigan, located in the Redford Oaks Plaza. Plenty food, cash bar. Ticket costs $50. More information, call 313-333-9657. This is a Detroit Table Talk production. Detroit Table Talk welcomes rap artist and entrepreneur Best At It. Check out his fans' clothing line on www.thewinningvision.com. He has top-tier hoodies, t-shirts, music, and more. Again, that's thewinningvision.com. Or check out his Facebook page, Best At It. What is fans? Don't be a fake-ass non-supporter.
And we're back. I got an echo.
That first one was sound.
It sounded good, didn't it? I was like, wait a minute, I might need to go to the studio with one of my guests.
I thought you were playing.
I was just thinking that. I was like,
That sounds good.
should have put on the T-Pain effect.
Listen, my co-host is not here. Dro is not here. But we're gonna rock out. We're gonna do our thing. Today, I am at the table with all men guest hosts today. I feel special. I feel honored to be at a table with all, handsome young men too.
Thank you.
Thank
you, beautiful. We appreciate you.
We're gonna start at the far right of me and let Quan introduce himself.
How y'all doing? My name is Quan Stories. Follow me on Instagram, any media platform. That's me. I'm a chef also. So if you need catering, anything.
You a chef?
I'm a chef.
Oh. Dang, I wish I had known before. Okay, man.
Big chef at that. One of the best chefs.
Is the food good though?
Oh, it's very good.
Okay, well I can't listen to what nobody else say. I got to
Taste it yourself.
Yeah, because it's subjective.
Yeah, but right now I'm at Pizza Cat though, so if you love pizza, come see me.
You a Pizza Cat?
I run the Pizza Cat store in Westland.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to come out there.
30915 Ann Arbor Trail. I only had a minute. There you go.
There you go. And then next to him we have the one and only.
Yes, Blue Beast. Thank you. I like that. The one and only. The one and only Blue Beast. Thank you for inviting me.
You're more than welcome. I appreciate both of you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Give us your stage name. The information, social media stuff. So
my social media is Blue Beast. Facebook, Adrian Matthews, my government. And that's that.
You got Instagram?
Yeah, that's Blue Beast.
It's Blue Beast?
Music, Blue Beast.
Okay, so listen. He's a rapper. Prolific. Is it prolific rapper?
I'm everything.
Okay. He's everything.
Good comeback.
He's everything. So hit him up, Blue Beast. He got some fire. I ain't even gonna lie to you. If I say they got some fire, then you know I'm real. I'm not critical, but I'm gonna tell you if you need to like go sit down somewhere.
I love that you said that you spoke highly of my music.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, because some
I-
people I'd be like, no, sir, that's not. Maybe you need to go back to God and ask
Yeah.
him what your talent is.
That's what's up. That's one of my talents. But I am also a personal trainer, and I love.
So I've
that.
been in the gym. I got up this morning and went at 7 or 7:30 this morning.
Yeah.
My body is kind of trying to reshape itself now, so I can see the transformation.
Yeah.
And I came early. I was sitting out here, eating some food because I hadn't eaten today. And my boy Dub pulled up on me and walked right up to the car and was like, "Why you got that McDonald's?"
Caught you eating.
I was like, "God dang." He said, "Didn't you just leave the gym?" I said, "Come on now, man."
So you was just walking around mentally healthy
Yeah.
and eating behind clothes.
I was be honest with you, I'm stressing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just eating.
I had too many chickens.
So he made me throw it away. So I had to throw it away. He said that bread wasn't good for me. So I was like, nigga, if you don't get away from my car. No, I didn't say that. But I was like, okay, I just threw it away. So we got, y'all, this my buddy right here. This is my buddy right here. We got Maniac at the table.
How y'all doing?
Come on, Maniac, sit up. Come on now.
I'm Maniac. My Instagram is Maniac119. I don't do too much. I'm an iron worker. Make body butter.
Tell them about the body butter and how they can order it.
The body butter is good. You have
did
to
you get okay?
hit me up on Instagram.
All right, pull it out.
Yeah, I got some nice little booze body butter. It's real good. It's all natural.
All natural, and it's actually it smells good. And if you are dealing with eczema or dry skin or anything like that, it actually works.
Yes, it does.
All ages.
When I first,
Oh yeah, all ages. You
Well,
can use it for deodorant. You can use it for in your hair. It's just good. It's all natural.
when I first smelled it, I was
Smell
like,
good.
dang, that junk smell good, and it lingers. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
smell lingers, and it actually make your skin soft.
Yeah.
So that's what's up.
Come in different flavors.
Yep.
Okay.
Different flavors. You know, it can be plain. It's shea butter, cocoa butter, coconut
Don't tell them
oil.
it's
Don't tell them
No,
it's
no, no. I just asked them what they
I
was
know.
don't tell them.
I can tell you a few things.
Just a few things.
You know, just so you
Because
know
even if
it
they
is
try
natural.
to put it, even if they try to do it, it ain't gonna be like you.
No, it ain't gonna be like this.
You know what I'm saying? They
I
don't got
haven't
the
seen
touch.
nothing with the texture that I give anyway. So.
Yeah, and then God didn't give them that, so it ain't gonna be right anyway.
Yeah, they-
the anointing is on your life for that.
Oh yeah,
that
they
body
ain't
butter.
gonna be able to mess with that one right there.
So listen, guys, I thank you for coming to the table to rock with me. We're coming into a season of Father's Day, and during Mother's Day we had some shows that was geared towards mothers. The one that we wanted to have, we were having some technical issues. But be that as it may, we're going forward. So today we want to talk about relationships. One of the things that I get text about, or when different people call me and hit me up, they're always talking about relationship stuff. Y'all need to talk about this, y'all need to talk about that, and I'll be like, well, our schedule is already booked on every Saturday. You know what I'm saying? But if it sounds good, I kind of bump stuff and move stuff around, because at the end of the day, it's about the clicks, right? You want to keep people engaged. You want to talk about something that they want to listen, to. So today we're talking about relationships. We're talking about our men starve for love. So I want you guys to watch this clip and let's have a conversation.
Let's do it.
The conversation.
Oh, you got the right ones here today.
Sweetheart, it took a lot for him to share his feelings with you, to put his heart out there. And that was your moment to give him what he was starving for. Because so many men just like him are in relationships where they get no positive reinforcement, they're shown no appreciation, and if they share their feelings, they're being too soft. It's just ridiculous. When all your man and many men like him want to hear is, I love you. I feel safe with you. I'm proud of you. I thank you for taking care of me. I believe in you. Thank you for putting in effort. I value your opinion. I respect you. And you don't have to be anybody other than who you are, because I accept you. And the work you put in does not go unnoticed. So baby, if I haven't told you as much as you'd like to hear, I'm sorry. And I promise to do my part as your woman, to never let you forget just what you mean to me. I love you. Be well.
Listen, I wanted to start off with that because it pulled on some heartstrings. And because, for a few things, I'm usually an individual that everybody call, you know what I'm saying, for comfort, you know, just to have talks, or if they got some stuff they need to get off their mind, they call me. People at work, I could just be in my office minding my own business. People just slide in. They start at the door, you know, peeking their head in. And before you know it, they sitting down in a chair. And sometimes I'm still typing, and I'm looking up like, are you not just sitting here? What you want? And before you know it, I'm knowing all kind of information that normally, you know, I would send an invoice for. But I don't know why God has chose me, but he has. And I accept wholeheartedly to have the conversation, you know, across the board with, you know, people regardless of what situation that they're in. Maybe about 3 years ago, when we were having a lot of issues with the police, brutality and stuff like that, because I've been in the criminal justice field for about 33 years, I decided I had enough. So I decided to go back to school to get my doctorate degree and change careers. So after all that time, I'm embarking on a new career, community care and counseling, specializing in trauma.
Yeah.
So, you know, at times when I thought before, why these people always like just pulling their, I mean, I have people like in their 90s and, you know, 80s and 70s, like telling me their whole life. And I never understood it. Like, why are these people like pouring themselves out? I didn't know that God was going to, you know, make me shift midway. So it all makes sense now. So now that we're at the table and we're talking about, you know, relationship issues, and we're talking about different things that go across the board, it's all coming together and it's making sense. But for me, this video here struck a chord because I don't think that us women, I don't think that we understand how much our men are starving for unconditional love. A lot of times we contribute that to sex and stuff like that, but it's more than just sex. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Sex is momentarily. You know what I'm saying? Most men, and I, you know, no disrespect to the men at the table, but most men ain't going no more than 30 minutes.
Sound crazy, but
you know.
She said most men.
Most men.
No disrespect to me at the table.
You know, they ain't going for no more than 30 minutes.
But I was speaking for my brothers in the back. You know what I'm saying?
They ain't doing more than 30 minutes, and that, and listen, and that includes, you know what I'm saying, the foreplay. That's all I'm gonna say. But honestly, so after you have sex, then what? You know what I'm saying? How are you feeding that man's spirit? You know, not ladies, I already know before you start, you know, tripping out and stuff like that. I already know. What about the women? I get that, you know, but right now we're not talking about the women.
No, sure.
How do we feed that man's spirit? Guys, I'm gonna ask you a question. You can answer it. I want to say this is a safe space, but we laugh. We laugh. Have you ever been in a place where you felt like you were starving for love?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to necessarily be with a woman in your life, but what about your mom? You know, what about your you know, your aunts and stuff like that? Just needed that extra to fill that void.
Yeah. I traveled to another state for a girl because I thought I needed to get her love.
I'm just gonna ask you guys to lean up just a little bit so we
Oh,
can
my
really
bad.
hear you.
I traveled to another state for a girl because I thought I needed her love.
Okay.
Like 2 times though, like 2 different states, like different area codes.
Same woman.
Same woman. And then I'm back in Michigan on your podcast because it ain't working.
What are some of the things that you were going through that made you feel like this young lady had what you needed?
We grown. It was the sex I thought I needed. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't get to know her. So that was the problem. We bumped heads too much. I didn't get to know her. It was just I didn't get love at home, so you gave me the love I needed since I wasn't getting it here. So then it's like you manipulated my mind to think you was the one I needed, but you wasn't. It was just, but that was 8 years of my life gone. But all I can do is keep moving forward.
So what were some of the things that you felt in your life like you were missing? Like when you were young, and I want you guys to all to answer that question that Quan just answered, but this in addition to the question, what do you think you were missing from home? Like, did you receive hugs? Did you receive affirmations spoken over your life?
No, well, I don't know. See, I had a good home. Like, don't get me, like, my mama was there, stepdaddy there, kids there. It's just like, it's more though than just being there. You feel we was there, but we ain't talk.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So it was more like we all being in the same house, somebody the same with my relationship. We didn't talk. Like, we lived with each other for 2 years, and sometimes we did not talk to each other like for the whole day. Walk past each other, like, I don't know if people know what that feel like. You feel me? It's crazy. It's not a good feeling to feel alone when you with somebody. It's not a good feeling. You feel me? But I'm a strong, black, handsome young man.
Yes,
so
you
I'm
are.
a
Yes,
bounce
you are.
back. You know what I'm saying? You bounce back.
What was the question again?
Have you ever felt like you were starving for love?
I feel like that all the time, honestly. But not from just one person.
Okay.
I be looking for it from a lot of people, to be honest.
But when you talk about starving for love, that means there's a void there. Where do you feel like that void came in at? Did it stem from your childhood?
I really don't know, honestly, because I ain't never think too much of it. I just know when I want certain love from certain people, women, that's just what I want. But it never, I never get what I want because I go about it the wrong way. Let me say that.
So do you...
But
So
where
let me
it
ask you a
stem
question.
from, I wouldn't know for real.
So do you go to different women for different things to fill that void and then realize it's still not filled?
And don't lie.
So do you bounce around to different women thinking that's it, and then still realize, dang, there's an ache there that hasn't been filled?
To a certain extent, because when I'm looking for what I'm looking for and don't get it, yeah, it is like, damn, it's just not, I'm not going to get it. So it's like wasting time bouncing from here to there. But at the same time, it's something I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does, and we're gonna explore that. Well, what say you, Maniac?
That's deep. Can you repeat the question?
Have you ever felt like you were starving for love?
Okay, yeah. Yes, I have felt like I was starving for love. I think it comes from me. When I grew up, I grew up around my mother, sisters, cousins, aunties, grandmother. They all kiss and hug. So when I look for a female, I look for the same kind of attention sisters, the same kind of attention my family give me. I look for that in a female.
Okay.
So and then when I'm not getting that, I'm like,
This ain't it.
yeah, what's going on? You don't do this, you don't do that. And then they probably grew up in a household that
But there's
didn't
no
do
affection.
that. So the meeting of the minds be crashing,
Man.
Okay, so I can say my background did play a role with that, I guess.
Okay.
Me being in prison.
Oh.
So that could be where it come from. Me just wanting that love from women, and so prison could play the role. Me going without for so long, when I was able to get it, it's like, this what I want, and I'm going to find it. So if you ain't got it, I'm going to go here. And plus, I'm making up anyway, so.
Do you guys feel like us women, do you feel like that you're heard from us?
Some women hear
Not
what they
all the
want to
time.
hear. Selective hearing. There we go. Correct terminology.
Selective hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that we do enough of speaking life, in you?
Some do, some don't.
Right.
And
Different people bring out different emotions in a person. Everybody ain't the same. Somebody can bring out the worst in you. Somebody can bring out the best in you.
That's right.
it's only a few women that's gonna speak life. That's what you said? Yeah, it's only a few that's gonna speak life into a man.
Man.
It ain't a lot that even know what that means.
Right. Because a lot of
Because
them,
they want.
yeah, and their life is in shambles. So how can they give you the life you need in their life? They're not even getting what they need in their life. They don't even understand.
Yeah, that was my next question. Do you guys feel like, do you feel received, for the most part by women?
I am a gift of God, so if they don't want to receive me, they can keep it pushing. You hear me?
Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. Blue, you over there thinking hard. What's going on? Let us in. You thinking hard over there.
No, I'm just.
Do you think you guys make mistakes that can cost you your life? And when I say cost you your life, I'm not talking about your physical life, but emotionally, your mental stability, dealing with people in your life that have not been fulfilling to you. Do you feel like sometimes you waste time?
Yes.
One mistake can mess everything up.
Yeah, you waste time. I was told by one of my female friends, like maybe 3 weeks ago, she told me, quit dealing with females that don't treat you as much as you are valued. She said, you are worth so much, but you want to be with a female, you want to be with a woman so bad, you will just settle.
Yeah. That's whoever told you that, she was speaking that life.
That's
That
real.
Exactly.
That's real.
And it woke me up to, it made me realize or remember
Who you
who I
were.
really am.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I've been dealing with these females who
Just
they
take from
just
you.
don't, they takers, and and when you so down in yourself, it'll feel like you're getting a lot, but you're really not getting nothing. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, yeah, you just got to, when you see a red flag, run right there.
So
Leave it alone.
why do you guys stay there? Because let me say this. I know some awesome women. I know some awesome women that have their head on straight, that are doing well in their careers, that knows how to, for the most part, run a household. And these men will latch on to toxic stuff and will disregard the healthy stuff. And I don't know if it's because you're so used to being in, I hate to, and I said it I think last week, but I hate that use that word toxic or toxicity because everybody is using it now.
But it's real.
And it's real. But do we stay in those situations and then when something healthy comes, we don't know what to do with it because we're so used to the bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's 50-50.
Okay.
Don't know what to expect. Don't want to go through the same trauma again.
But if the person's not showing you that toxic stuff, why would you not believe it?
It be in the head.
That's what I'm saying.
Because we all go
Mental.
through it. Yeah, we done been through it. So even though she is over there looking good, got it going on.
We ain't talking about looks. Now we
I'm just
passed
saying
the looks.
overall,
Yeah.
physical, mentally, all that. She got it going on, but I might just want to stay over here because I've been through this. I want
And
to
you
fight
know-
for this.
Right.
And it's a good
Fighting.
chance I might have to go through all this again if I choose this over there. So I think it's like 50-50.
I'm a firm believer it gets better. The toxic stuff, it gets better, but some people it don't get better. Some
right.
people it do.
It do come time you just gotta let go. But
You got to, because
Let go or you going to let yourself go. Like me, I lost weight and then gained it back and lost it again. So I had to
Because of
let
the
go.
stress?
Stress.
Oh, chef's gonna do it to you all the time. I think me personally, I will fall in love with the potential. I would see that, yeah, she got the good potential to do this, and I'm like, yeah, girl, yeah, baby, you can do this and do this and do that. But then you just keep falling short, and after so long, it's like the argument's gonna start because she gonna get tired of you trying to. It don't even be complaining. You just be trying to lift her up to another level. I believe is where we look for the woman at. You got to go to the right place, the right environment to get the right kind of female. You know, you can't keep going to the bars and all of this type of
But
stuff.
some people won't leave that one place to, you know what I'm saying, to go to the next place because they're so used to that one place. Well, I'm
Right.
familiar. I know that she, you know, she gets hot or whatever, she gonna slash my tires. You know what I'm saying? Or she gonna break my windows. Or, you know what I'm saying?
That's when it come like us being grown. Sorry to cut you off.
You fine.
Sometimes it's like ain't no complaining when it come to that life, cause if that's what you accepted.
Yeah.
Not when it got real dirty, you like, damn. Or me as a grown man, I supposed to have sympathy for you because you knew, you know.
Exactly.
So-
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
I think we have to elevate our mind. We be so caught up in our emotions. It blinds us. You know, I was taught in the Nation of Islam, you have to rise above your emotions and come into the thinking of God. Meaning you have to put your feelings to the side at times when you making a lifelong decision. You got to really make the right decision or you're going to be messed up.
Unfortunately, I sit back and I see a lot of guys that sometimes I feel real bad. I feel sorry because you can see that their heart is empty. You can see that they're not getting anything. You can see it. You know what I'm saying? And you want so much for them to like acknowledge it and move on, get away from that. You don't have to. And that's the part I hate, that we make men feel like they have to stay. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason.
It sound like you talking to me.
And it's like,
Or you been
Sound like a
hearing,
form
you
of
been
low
hearing
self-esteem.
she been hearing my story with what's been going on
nah,
with me and women or something.
Nah, that's just across the board. I see so many men that just, they feel stuck. You know what I'm saying? They're stuck between their happiness and what,
I feel like that
they
every
want to
day.
do the right thing.
I feel
but
like that
in love.
every day. Honestly, that's me every day. I be feeling like that.
That was me too, the whole 8 years, because I'm an artist, and then I had a girlfriend. But I'm like, okay, women come with the music. You know what I'm saying? One day, my ex, she bent the girl hand at the concert. Like, she was like, "Oh my God, I like your earrings." She grabbed her hand and turned her about to do a cartwheel. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. You overprotected, but you cannot do that. It's a thin line between, business and then what I do at home. And this is entertainment. If I make money off of it, you want to spend my money, so let me make the money. This is entertainment, But men have a choice whether we gonna cross that line or we gonna, we ain't young no more.
But you know what? And this is just this year. I had a firm belief that when there's a line, you just don't cross it.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing and I'm learning more and more that sometimes, and we've heard this. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've heard this saying that he will never leave you for that person, or if he cheated with you on her, then he's going to cheat on you with someone else. There are so many men that step outside their relationships, and I'm not necessarily talking about marriage, because I think if you're married, then there's a commitment there that you made to yourself, first to yourself, then to her, and most importantly to God. But my belief is, if you're single, you're single until you walk down that aisle. You know what I'm saying? Period. But I think that a lot of times we get so caught up on the other woman, and no one stops to think about what that man is building with that other woman. Sometimes he's in a situation for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and I'm exaggerating when I say that, because I pray that nobody stays in a situation that they should have been out a long time ago. You know, that's you wasting your life. You know what I'm saying? But I think that sometimes they stay because of whether it's the family, you know, they children, you know, they trying to wait until their kids get grown. They're the breadwinner, and the person, you know what I'm saying, don't really have it in them right now to provide, you know, or to have a stable home for the children. So men stay. And then as soon as they get an opportunity, they do what they got to do. They leave that situation and they go on to be happy. So I'm saying that to say, sometimes, for the most part, when you hear the stories from the men, and it's like you sit there and you be like, and you're staying because of what? Like, make it make sense to me. You know, I get the underline, but life is so short. People are getting out, you know, they're getting out of here. Before, we used to look at people, and it used to be our grandparents and stuff like that. We getting up out of here younger and younger every day. And when you start normalizing toxic behavior, you waste away. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you think you're doing out in this world, it's not going to be to the best, because you can't flourish in that kind of environment.
That's right.
You know, especially if it's not, you know what I'm saying, if it's not balanced.
That's right.
When you think about your parent or your mom or your dad, because a lot of our young men, our African-American young men, for the most part, grew up in single-parent homes. So when you talk about males being starved for love, do you think that it has a direct effect or connection with the father? Because I know from now we put a lot of stuff up on the women. Women are doing the best that they can. Mm-hmm. What connection do we have in that with the father?
I said that to somebody the other day. I said, now I know what my behavior was like because of missing a father. Like, no, like literally 2 days ago, like, on God, it was. I said it as a joke because something I did. I said it as a joke, but it's like because I was in a single mama. Like, my daddy came through to whoop me like one time, I remember, but he ain't even end up whooping me because my story was so good.
But did you have a connection with your dad? Like, did you?
I do now.
Okay.
Like, back in the day, whatever you had to do is like he had to get his life together. Whether they was young, I think my mama had me when she was like 20, 19. I'm 31. My mama 51. So it's like, you know, he had to do what he got to do. Like my dad, but they both living good lives.
Do y'all feel safe crying in front of your girl?
Depends on who she is.
I do.
If it's your girl, yeah, I would.
I feel safe crying in front of anybody.
Do you?
Because I know the consequences. I know what come with everything. That's go back to me being grown and not complaining. If I cry in front of y'all, there might be a little ammo for y'all to use. I know that. But
Okay.
if I got to drop them, I'm letting them go.
So let me rephrase that question, because that makes sense, Blue. That, you know, you can cry in front of anybody. Most men are not like that. But let me rephrase it as, do you feel a sense of vulnerability around a woman where with those tears you can verbalize where it's coming from? Or can you just cry and, you know, you keep that bottled in? Do you release
I only
it?
cry when I'm hurt and mad. I cry when I'm hurt and mad. And it's like you just ain't getting it or nobody getting it. So let me just drop a few and recoup, honestly.
I didn't cry to get out of stuff.
What you mean?
Like, I crashed my manager's car one day and I cried. I said,
Oh.
I said, I hit it. She was like, I said, you can keep my checks until I'm done. And then she let me, I was so real with it, she recommended me for another job in West Bloomfield. You know, so it's like, it's about what you do to get out that situation. But I've only cried in front of a woman one time, but I cried to tell her that another man can treat you better than me.
Wow.
That was the only time I did that. You feel me? Because I just felt
Wow,
like,
that's deep.
Yeah.
You know.
you know, I'm becoming a man. I had to learn on my own because Pops wasn't there. I was around the player. You feel me? So I grew up being the player, but that's not the life I want.
Okay.
Different women every day, because I didn't end up losing everything, money, shoes, everything. You know what I'm saying?
Shoes too?
Shoes too. Because I had to pawn my shoes so I get some money to eat. You know what I'm saying?
No, seriously.
Like seriously.
Okay, what do you mean pawn shoes? Like
I ain't
to
even know that. I
somebody
ain't
or
even
to
know-
like a company?
To the pawn shop.
They take shoes?
I found out when I took.
What pawn shop takes shoes? Were they Jordan?
No, they was Air Force Ones. They gave me 30.
Dog, I know you lying.
I'm not.
How much you get? $5?
30. They got 30.
Did you go back and get your shoes for? Did you go back and pay them $30?
Yeah, for sure.
You really wanted those Air Force Ones
I
back?
did, because they was crispy.
They was
That's why
crispy.
they gave me 30. They actually gave me 35 because they was in good condition.
Never heard of that before.
was
Never
really
heard of that. You know, I want you guys to listen to this and tell me what you think about this.
I'm playing the other video.
Men. Most men will only experience unconditional love from their mothers, and some of us don't even get that. Most of us have never even felt appreciation or respect without conditions or hidden intentions. We don't know what it sounds like to hear, "I see you, and I'm proud of you. I'm glad you're here. You really make a difference." Yet the expectation is to constantly be displaying the strength and love that the world is hesitant in conveying. The first step in being a man is ignoring the hunger. Cause yes, boy, you're gonna be starving. Starved of attention, starved of affirmation, starved of love, starved of being told that you are enough. Step 2 in being a man is comfortability with replaceability. You are only as good as you are useful. You are only as valuable as you are needed by others. Should there ever come a day, boy, where you fail to provide everybody with a smiling face, then do not be surprised when they say all men do is take up space.
That was deep. Do you guys ever feel like that you are unvalued? Like
Most
the only
definitely.
reason why we're, you're in our presence is because of what you can do for us?
Yeah.
Most definitely. A lot of females, it's all about what's hanging. Either your Jimmy hanging or your money hanging. That's all it's
Once
about.
one of them don't work.
Yeah, it's over.
No, I've been told one day by somebody, it was like, it's something in you that somebody else ain't got. You feel me? It's something like ain't got. That too. What you said, I ain't saying you wrong, but it's something like it's something in you, like your persona as a person. That's like you can walk in the room, somebody don't like you for something. They can have $1 million in their pocket and they not like you because of who you are. You feel me? Like I'm so.
That's true.
Now,
See that
now
every
tie
day.
that. Now
That's true.
tie that into a woman. Do you ever feel valuable to a woman?
My bad, I got off topic. My
You
bad.
did, but that's okay. We're gonna bring you back in. Do you ever feel
sorry.
valuable or less valuable to a woman depending on what you can and can't do for her?
Yeah. Go ahead. No. I just said
Overall,
yeah.
I think that only come or kick in with me, or I'm gonna speak for a lot of men. When we ain't busy, if we ain't active, if we ain't being men, cause I'm looking at Cuz video, and it just took me back to like caveman, or just the black man going to hunt and bringing this shit back to the family. If I ain't doing that, being active, of course I'm looking for something else. But if I'm active, even like yesterday, I ain't looking for too much of nothing when I'm active and being busy. So I think it's just more so when we slow down and stop.
Even when
we
you're
feel like
active.
when we feel like we ain't doing enough.
When you feel like you're active and you're out there hunting or you out there, making it happen to provide for your family, do you ever feel like I'm taking it back to somebody who don't even appreciate me? Don't appreciate nothing that I'm doing. Don't respect me, don't honor me. You know what I'm saying?
If she done told us that or told you,
well, you don't have to tell her. Sometimes it's just in the way that it's displayed.
I feel like it's more so us.
Actions. They tell you actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
You don't ever have to tell me I don't like you. Yeah. Your actions will show.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of females I've been with, all this appreciation and I appreciated you and thank you. I get that after the fact, after I done left them alone. You know, because I always tell them, you know, my grass is green.
Okay.
But it's going to turn brown because it's real.
Yeah.
So you went over there and messed with that guy, he playing
Yeah.
on turf over there.
Yeah.
Forever.
That's fake. That's
You
fake over
see?
there.
So now you coming back, but I don't even want you no more because you done already misused me to the point. When I leave you alone, I done took more than the average.
I was talking
I
to
want her to come back.
what, to see that you doing better?
The grass is real, so I'm gonna need somebody to get my grass back together.
That's
She
toxic.
got to learn.
I'm
yeah.
just saying.
That's
it-
Because it's someone, it's something
I
out
don't-
there
I
that
But it's
don't
somebody
take
out
care of
there.
it.
But it's somebody
I ain't
else
gonna
out
lie.
there that will fertilize your grass continuously.
Say it
Why
again.
have breaks when
Yeah,
your
you're right.
stuff is
Don't need no
cankered
break.
and it's brown and it's tearing up and now you got to start all over?
You
I just-
right, but I don't never like cutting people all the way off. Honestly, if I said I loved
Yeah, that's
you,
not me.
if I
That's
loved
true.
you at some point, I
But-
will let you come back and enjoy.
But
my
you don't have to
real
let them come
grass.
back in that space.
No, she gonna understand the grass is real now.
Not
He said
necessarily.
she ain't
So that's-
gonna-
Some-
Until that
mean
space
that's-
get
Some of them
That
space
means you
get
just
filled.
finna
They
repeat.
appreciate it,
Yeah.
but
Some
then
don't.
Give
once
them a
they
week or
get
2
that-
weeks.
They got you again.
Makes sense.
It
Then
goes
they
right
start
back
messing
to-
up. So that's why you got to
It's a
get to
50,
know
yeah.
the person. You
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
become a friend before you even dive into this relationship stuff
Yeah.
because you don't even know that person. You know,
was-
then you really not gonna know each other until you move together. That's why it's called courting. You know, focus on each other and become friends. You have to get to know that person because
I
if you
was-
don't,
I made a girl wait a
talking
year.
I was talking to my ex-fiance yesterday, and I wanted him to call in. I wanted him to, do the video. He's not really open, like that. He was like, I only talk to you and somebody, a couple other people like this, But he said something yesterday, and it I appreciated it. He said, I want to tell you that don't beat yourself up. Because, I was talking to him about some
That's
stuff
right.
that I was going through or whatever. And he was like, don't beat yourself up. He said, you know what, Carmen? He said, you are a damn good woman.
that's right.
He said, and I was like, I appreciate you saying that. He said, you know what? I want to apologize. He said, because I should have married you when you was 21. And he said, all these years that we've, been together, he said, you know how far we would be right now if we had married each other then? It was just some years ago that, we were going to get married, but we had some differences. At the time, my son was in prison here. And we, was going to be resigning in Tennessee. And he wanted me, the date was set and stuff like that, and he wanted me to move out there, which I was because, I have to follow my husband. But my only thing was, wait, hold on. Let's kind of do this after my son get out. He was like, no, I'm ready to marry you now. But my thought was, no, I got to take my grandson to see my son. He was like, well, I'll fly you in or drive you up here, once a month. I said, once a month? I said, I'm used to seeing my son once a week or twice a week. And his son, he's used to seeing his son, every week. I said, no, I can't do that. His son is young and he needs to know who his dad is, as he's growing up. And I'm the only one that is able to take him. I said, so I'm not depriving my son of that. So, at the end of the day, he gave me an ultimatum. You
don't do that with love.
Marry me. And, because them boys grown, you know how y'all men be, And I picked my son, because I know the effect of men that are incarcerated not being able to have a connection to the people that they love, whether it's their children, their mother, their families. Because let's just face it, when our men are caught up in the system, all these guys out here that y'all connected to, they not trying to send you no care packs. They may send you some 1 or 2 times, maybe for the first month or 2 months,
I only
and
knew
then
my
it gets
mama
silent.
number. Not to cut you off, I apologize, but I only knew my mama number.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say is he was so apologetic. He said, man, I wish I can just talk to these dudes out here, because I was telling them, that there is like not just piss, but there's some shit, in the dating pool. And he was like, man, I wish I could just tell these men how good of a woman you are. Right now he's dating someone, but he was like, man, if I.
So a question: who was wrong there in that situation? Him
wanted me to be
ultimatum with you, or you not choosing that and choosing your son?
At that time, I made the decision to choose my son, because at that moment we wasn't married, so he wasn't my husband. Yeah. So I wasn't obligated, in a sense, to follow him. And I think that at that time, my son needed to see his son and his mother. Yeah. More than he needed me to say I will. You know what I'm saying? At that time.
But in marriage, you would have went with him?
Oh, absolutely. But I really appreciate it, although it comes at like you said, after. I appreciate him acknowledging, the woman that I was in his life. And like he said, Carmen, when I met you, he said I was going through so much trauma. He said I was going through stuff with my baby's mama. He said, slicing tires, busting windows, and she used to steal his phone. She used to answer his phone or call the different women in his phone, me being one. And he said, so I wasn't mentally prepared for the woman that you were. He said, you didn't see no 20-year-old woman, or 21-year-old woman, I'm sorry, raising a child and all her stuff was together. He said it was something that I wasn't used to seeing. Coming home, the house always clean, a meal always cooked, the children in order, and stuff like that. He said, I just never seen that before. And he said, it scared the hell out of me. He said it scared the hell out of him. He did something, and then I'm going to let you guys talk. He did something at one time, and I found out about it. So we were having a discussion, and I just sat there and looked at him. He's trying to beg, forgive me and this and that. And I'm just looking at him. He was like, why you ain't saying nothing? I said, I'm listening to you talk. And he was like, but did you hear what I just said? I said, yeah. He said, so you ain't gonna punch me? You ain't gonna slap me? He said, you ain't gonna do none of that shit? I said, why should I? I said, you know what you did. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm not doing all that. I said, I got, children. This man was outdone that I didn't go outside and bust his windows, cut his tires up, because that's what he was used to in his relationships. I'm saying that to say,
a female like that.
I'm saying that to say, men get so used to unhealthy situations that when a healthy situation come into their life, they get discombobulated. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not used to it. And the thing they do, they'll take off running. You know what I'm saying? Like JT did. He took off running. But it wasn't until later he was like, man, I wish I had the strength to walk away then. Have you guys ever been in those positions?
Definitely.
That's with the maturity.
Yeah.
With the mind growing. Because I was in it several times. And it ain't even about it being unfamiliar. It's if I want it.
You said several?
Yeah, if we want that.
That feels good, though?
No, I witnessed that when I was 16.
So that feel good.
Okay.
The female was 19 or 20 in college. Every time I walked in the house, took my shoe off, she grabbed them, put them in place. The house always was clean, the meal. And I just used to be like, chill, like, relax. If I'm hungry, I get food. I used to be like that. I straighten my own shoes up, but I didn't know her mind was already there. She was ready. Like they say, women develop faster than men.
And not so much, especially if you came up in a family like my mom. My mother, although she was out in the workforce until she got sick, my dad never had to cook.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My dad, every time he came home from work, there was a meal for him. Even if my mom stopped off and got something because she didn't feel like it. She did laundry. You know what I'm saying? She cleaned. Now, when she got sick, she used to, Bill, go over there and mop that floor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's when she was sick. I'm not, until my children were older. I think they were in their senior year. I think it was Vincent. I used to cook every day. Ever since they were able to talk, every morning I dropped them off at kindergarten. I say, what you want to eat? And whatever they wanted to eat, I would cook.
Yeah.
Well, high school, senior year, I was like, these boys grown. I ain't cooking no more. My son came in the house. Wasn't nothing cooking. I think I traumatized that child. He came in, he looked in the stove. It was nothing. He went over to the microwave, and I'm sitting in the living room watching him. He go over to the microwave, nothing.
Devastated.
He looking around like, what the hell? So he goes in his room and slams his door, and I can hear him saying, can't even get a hot cooked meal in here. So I'm like, I said, and so I responded. I said, nigga, you grown. I said, I don't have to cook for you no more. You not no baby. That's your job. A mother should always have a meal cooked. I said, no, the hell he didn't.
That's why I say the game go 50-50 with us
No, the hell he didn't.
looking for love. It go 50-50 because Q said he didn't have none of that and he's still looking. And then
Yeah.
you got some men that grow up. My granny always cooked.
Okay.
So if baby girl right here not cooking,
You can go over there and get a plate.
I'm gone. Because I'm looking for something that I'm used to. He looking for something he ain't used to. So it go 50-50 when it
Man,
comes to
that's
that.
deep.
Yeah, it is.
That's deep. Do you see that the people that are in your life is healthy people? Are you allowed to be called on the carpet?
What you mean?
Like if your boys is around and they see you, maybe getting into some foolishness, are they allowed to call you on the carpet? Like, nigga, what you doing?
Yeah. Only
But do
the
you
real
listen?
ones gonna do it.
Right.
Only the real ones gonna listen.
True.
Most of my friends
Yeah.
have a wife or a woman. So we don't talk about a lot of stuff about our woman, but we talk about our women. But then I got a few friends who we don't have no, because I'm single, but it's 50-50, you just gotta.
Do you see healthy relationships? You're single.
Yeah, I see healthy relationships, but it's outweighed with the unhealthy.
For real.
I don't think you even hear too much healthy talk about a relationship.
So when do we change that trajectory? When do we get to the place where we want to rewrite, what society says that our homes and our relationships should look like?
Being comfortable.
We got to
with
create it.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
create it. It starts at
with
home.
us.
See,
Yeah.
my father raised a gangster and a thug. I didn't raise no gangster.
Let me
and a
shake
thug.
your hand, man.
You know what I'm saying? I do my best not to raise a gangster and a thug. You know what I'm saying? So I try and guide him the best way I can. So he'll at least be in a relationship and not have to go through some of the stuff I went through. And if he do see them red flags, he get the hell away from them because it'll turn into years of wasted life.
When you're starving for love, it leaves a void inside of you. Do you think that with that void inside of you, is it connected to you stepping out where the way that you respond to certain things?
Certain things.
you mean?
Okay, so
Stepping
let me
out.
give
That
you
void.
let me give you an example.
So I'm pissed off because I ain't getting love, and
But you don't really know that that's the reason why you're pissed off. You don't know that's why you're angry all the time. You know what I'm saying? And you can tell angry people because you can talk about the least thing and it goes from 0
And
to
tick 'em off
1,000.
quick, yeah.
And it's like, where did that come from?
That's me. No, I do that. I go zero to when you come to me with something wrong. Like we can be having a beautiful day, went out to eat, candlelit dinner, and you come home. You got a call yesterday. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why you bringing something? Women would mess up a good moment for something that they've been thinking about instead of just hashing everything out at one time.
But when you think about it, or do you sit down and think about like, okay, I reacted this way. Why did I react like that? You know what I'm saying? That didn't cause for me to go from 0 to, 1,000. Do you honestly sit back and say, man, I need to find out why I'm really angry? Because it wasn't that she said, you didn't put the top back on the, on the toothpaste, or why you didn't put the toilet seat down.
That's when you start to get in tune with yourself. Because some people just don't care. Some people don't care. Yeah, and then they'll be like, well, I'm acting like this because fuck it. But you have to be in tune with yourself. And you have to really want to make a change to be able to identify that and ask yourself some kind of questions, I believe.
When you talk about being starved for love, I just want to ask a question. We talk about self-love all the time. And for me as a woman, I can look out and see women that are starved for love. In their behaviors, the way that they talk, you know, the manipulations of their bodies and stuff like that. The weaves, you know what I'm saying? The huge eyelashes, you know what I'm saying? They've become something else. You know, for me, this is what I think. There's an underline of something going on there that they don't think that they're good enough.
Yeah, see, I want something
You know.
natural. Something more natural.
You know, they don't think that they're good enough the way that God has made them.
Low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem. How do you guys get to the point where you start becoming whole? You start healing those thoughts in your mind. You start healing, feeling like even as men, you have to settle.
We don't.
Oh, you don't.
You got to believe in yourself.
But how do you start doing that? If you've put yourself at a place where you've just ranked with the low vibrations for the most of your life.
Now you gotta put yourself in them high vibrations.
But how do you
And
do that?
believe
That's what
in
I'm
yourself.
asking.
It's
Just
something
like
in you.
Just like
Yeah.
you
Well, give me
said.
some steps, you know, because that's just general.
The step you
Ain't no-
said, low vibration, whatever steps we took, now we finna reverse those. I'm finna change my crowd, change the women, the way I think, what I'm reading, what I'm watching. Like he said,
How
you
we
just gotta
moving.
want to do it though.
You got to start reading positive things. History.
Yeah.
You know, you got to start reading positive things about yourself and your people, and believe that it's you. You have to believe in that there is a God out there that put that son out there
Or
that
some
got his
higher
best
power.
interest in you, and you have to know that you are a direct descendant from the God. So you got to read those certain things
Say
to
that
believe
again.
in yourself.
Say that again. We are a direct
Descendant from the
descendant
God.
of a God. We are made in
In
his
his-
likeness
that's right.
and image.
Flat
but
out.
until we believe that,
It's not going to be.
once you believe you're made in his likeness and his image, your mindset is totally different.
That's right.
You walk different. You
That's
talk
right.
different.
The
You know,
chest
you
out.
present yourself different.
That's right. You got to
know?
know. You got to believe and know that you are that one. And you can't talk like that around a lot of people because they'll be looking at you like, oh, this nigga think he, excuse my language, but he think he the shit or whatever. No, I just believe in
know I
myself.
am.
I know.
I'm not down in you, but this is what keeps me, this is what allows me to bring whatever reality I want into existence because I believe and I know I can.
I like those things that you said too, that you can start doing, you know. And I think we have to be conscious, you know, as women, we a lot of times, or for the most part, we have affirmations that we speak over ourselves, or we encourage other women to speak, you know, life over themselves. You know, whether you're writing something on a sticky note and you're putting it in your bathroom on the window, because hopefully.
I like that.
Everybody that goes to the bathroom in the morning have to brush their teeth.
That's right.
You know, so while you're brushing your teeth, you're looking at those affirmations and you're repeating them over yourself. And then you keep saying it until you believe it. You know, and I'm not saying
Right.
for the most part, because I tell young ladies all the time, you may not even believe this about yourself right now, but say it enough, it's going to get in your spirit, and then you're going to believe it, and then you're going to start walking in that knowledge.
We be forgetting ain't nothing wrong with being a student
Yeah.
at all
Gotta be a
times.
student,
Yeah,
that's right.
and that's what we forget.
That's right.
Because ain't nothing wrong with reading that sticky mark
No,
or
for
telling
real.
yourself. Just like I'm gonna tell my daughter every day I drop her off from school who she gonna be.
Yeah.
You know, or who she is. I'm gonna install that on her, and she
That's
gonna
right.
know the queen she is. So I feel like it ain't nothing wrong with
I got a chick that.
reminding ourselves that too.
No, go ahead.
That's it.
So I got a chick that actually do that. Like literally, she got, and I read them. Like I read them. She got like at least 15 of them in the bathroom.
What's her name?
I can't tell you that.
Because I know one that do that too.
Oh, God.
What she look like? What she look like? Is it west or east? That's all I'm gonna know. West or east? Both. Nah.
And that's good. You know, there are some awesome TikTok videos of fathers with their daughters. and they're in the bathroom, you know, brushing their hair or putting pigtails in her hair and speaking life over, you know, repeat after me, you know, I am a queen or I am a princess, you know, I can do anything I place my mind to. You know, I remember, well, it's been a couple of years I've been a teacher, but my children, I have 4th grade, when they came in every morning, we had affirmations that we had to speak. And my kids was bad. They was blessed. I used to say they blessed, but I'm saying at the table, they was bad. But I replaced that word bad with blessed, you know, and I keep trying to say they was blessed. They was bad. When I say bad, school started at 9:03, 9:05. We done had 3 or 4 fights. You know, they were challenging. And it seemed like the principal would put them all in my class. And I used to be like, Lord, why are you doing this to me? These kids got some issues, you know. And it got to the point where the principal would say, because I know you can deal with it. I had teachers that would drop their bad kids off of my class. So what I ended up doing, I said, Lord, okay, what can I do to get these kids to kind of shift? I started making them joke and say affirmations in the morning. You know, after they eat breakfast, I would write it out on the board, you know, for a period of time. I had it up there for like 30 days. But every day they came in, they learned it, you know what I'm saying, because we repeated it every day. And there was a time where I didn't have to have it on the board no more. Yeah. It was in them. Yeah. And then I seen the change in them based on the affirmations they spoke over themselves. That's right. And then throughout the day, when they would do something crazy, I'd be like, what did your affirmations tell you this morning? Yeah. Like, repeat it to me. Yeah. And then they would, you know, self-correct. I'm saying that to say,
we need to start doing that.
Yeah, I want us to be conscious of self-correcting.
Yeah.
You know, if we can. Regardless of what's going on around you, you know, what's ailing you, what is influencing you, we have to get to the point where we're speaking life over ourselves. And then as soon as we believe it, our environment will change. Yeah. You know, after a while, you wouldn't want to be around Pookie because Pookie ain't lining up with what you spoken over your life or what God has spoken over you, or the universe, the grass, the trees, you know, the plants, whatever you believe in. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll find that your life shift. So although for me, I understand that I'm recognizing that a lot of our African American men are just starved of love. And I'm trying to do my part. I'm encouraging the women that are in my life, especially ones, well, they're not really in my life, the ones that be on some foolishness. And if they are, I encourage them all the time. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got to speak life into that man. You got to, you know, you got to. So it's like each one teach one. So that's the challenge I'm putting out to you guys at the table. And everybody who's watching Detroit Table Talk. Start speaking life into, you know what I'm saying, yourself first, but then start speaking life into those people that are around you.
That's right.
It's a blessing. Like, that'd be dope. It's just so iffy.
They got them.
Forget the iffy.
Not even that. It'd be so iffy because
you gotta be
our crowd.
You gotta be strategic.
Our crowd.
No, forget the crowd.
The brother just was saying his crowd. He know marriage and single people. So if my woman hanging around different crowds, it's rare that you got her friend or anybody else encouraging her to speak. What you saying?
Now forget her friends.
But that's
you speaking in her life because she's involved in your life.
Yeah, vice versa. Our crowd, we don't know how to do that no more, honestly.
But if you listen to what you just said, Blue Beast.
Used to hearing negativity.
Right, but listen to what you just said. I'm finna line it up to you.
Not saying I can't do it.
But no. You see how that was the first thing that you said. You went to something negative versus adapting something positive.
I agree, yeah.
You know, so we have to consciously catch ourselves with stuff like that, even with our thought process. When we think, you know, when something happened, naturally, that's what we go first for, you know, think the negative. I'm quick now to bind them thought processes. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, and try to redirect myself, you know, like my son be on some stuff. I ain't even gonna lie. That youngest one, sometimes, I promise you. But when he be acting a fool, I have to remind myself what God said about him. You know, and I have to be like, I be wanting to cuss him out, and I be like, boy, you don't even know how blessed you are. You know, like, you know, I whatever it is, I speak over his life. And then, eventually, he gone and settle down or he leave out. But I guarantee you he's thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Forget about what if Maniac have a buddy that ain't doing too well, his mindset is not the best or whatever. Every time I see Maniac, if I'm speaking life in him, regardless of who he's around, eventually that stuff is going to settle in his spirit. It's going to, once you plant that seed, eventually that seed has to, bloom.
That's right.
God might call me to plant the seed in the people.
Yeah.
Then he may have somebody else that's going to come and water it.
That's right.
And then eventually that seed has to grow. So don't worry about, oh man, I've been telling that nigga for about 6 months, you gonna be the best, man. That you and you looking like he ain't listening to me.
Right.
But you don't know. You don't know that God is pushing that seed through that dirt.
You don't know.
You don't know. How many times you've seen something planted and you go to sleep, it was just dirt. You wake up and now you see a little bud through it. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. We don't stay the long haul.
Mm-hmm. Those people be running from the difficulties and the problems and the issues.
But they gonna keep running because that's what they get used to.
Yeah.
Every time an issue or concern, they take off.
Yeah.
Because
they don't
that's
know
what
how
they're
to
used
face
to
it.
it.
Yep. That's what they use.
Not believing in that process.
It's so cold in here. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all.
I'm a winner, baby. Keep it going.
I'm a winner. I'm January, so I'm a winner,
February.
baby. But I just want to say on behalf of the women, and although I don't know all the women, you guys are valuable to us. As men, you're valuable to us. I pray that whatever you are deficient in when it comes to, this life, that God will, fill you up and that he will send people in your life that will be that intrudent to, filling you up. I pray that, you will only hear what God is planting inside of you and not what you are not. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say on behalf of the women, we apologize for not stepping up to the plate, not giving you what you need. We know that when you go out into this world, you have a lot that you have to deal with. And we want to, and I'm just speaking, maybe prophetically, we want to be that soft place that you guys can land. We want to be that place you come home to and you have that peace. We don't want to be a part of, society and adding on to what you have to deal with out in the world. But we want you to see yourself as we see you. We want you to see yourself as God see you. So although that you may be walking at a deficit now, and I'm not necessarily talking about the people at this table, but it's not to exclude the people at this table. Although you may be at a deficit right now, we pray that, something that was said or something that you heard today, that it will stick into your mind and your spirit, and that you will begin that journey of self-love and self-healing, where you no longer have to walk around starving for the love that is already, placed inside of you, whether it's with a tangible love or the love from the Father, So on behalf of, Detroit Table Talk, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you coming to the table, and I appreciate you being open to learn and to start your journey in healing and start your journey on spreading that love and that healing to everybody that you come in contact with.
We appreciate you.
Everybody want to give their handles and where people can find you and any products that you have out.
Quan Stories. It's QWANSTORIEZ. I do music and I am a chef. So if you need, I perform at weddings too. We were talking about getting married earlier, but if you need catering, get at me. Definitely.
And what I want the guys to do, if possible, go back to Detroit Table Talk and put your information in the comment section. Okay. That way people can just, because we lazy sometimes. Mm-hmm. People like, what he say his name was? Just put it in the chat and they can click on it and it's easier for them. Blue Beast.
Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate
Anytime.
it. Don't tell me that.
Anytime.
Tomorrow?
Saturday. We're only here Saturdays. Saturdays at 5.
But no,
you're more than welcome.
Music on all platforms, personal trainer. Y'all can get at me. I'm good at it. I change lives when it comes to that. honestly, I do things the doctor can't do.
Well, me and Tia thinking about it.
But yeah, shout out to Tia Black and the whole podcasting. Shout out to Tia Black.
Monologues.
Yup, Monologue 313 movie
6 o'clock
premiere.
on Mondays.
Yes, and movie premiere June 2nd and June 18th. Energy and Gunplay. Base.
Be there or be square. No.
Maniac, my IG, Maniac, MANIAC 119. You know, a lot of people call me to talk, so I talk. I got this body butter again, like I said.
Hey.
It's all natural.
How much a bottle like that cost?
$20. But, you know, you buy a lot, I'll give you a discount.
Body butter.
Yeah, this Booze body butter right here is good for eczema, dry skin, deodorant, put it in your hair, whatever you want to do with it is good. Get
Support
rid of
black businesses.
Dark spots.
I need something to help
all
me
of that.
stop sweating.
I need something. I was just about to say, you got
And
something.
then also Detroit Table Talk. You can catch us on all platforms, Detroit Table Talk across the board. And then we have a website, DetroitTableTalk.com. Go over there and hit the shop. And, you know, we have tumblers. We have, I have 3 books out. Covenant Relationships, Covenant Relationship, Understanding What God Desires. My second book is Life Happens, How God Sustained Me. And my third book is Let's Be Friends. It's a book for children on autism. So head over to DetroitTableTalk.com, order you some products, you know, support us, you know, in that way. And we appreciate you. Next week, we'll be back at the table, 5 o'clock. We're going to go out with the Masquerade Ball. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us at the table.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
The Detroit Table Talk podcast presents a Masquerade Ball. Not like that. Saturday, June 10th, 2023 from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. 25463 Grand River, Redford, Michigan, located in the Redford Oaks Plaza. Plenty food, cash bar. Ticket costs $50. More information, call 313-333-9657. This is a Detroit Table Talk production.